I'm Narelle Jacobs.
And that makes me Tim Gossage.
Welcome to this special edition of 10 Eyewitness News with the 2018 Rottnest Channel Swim just around the corner, and we're all excited for another great event.
You betcha. Whether you've participated before or this is your first time, the following presentation will help you prepare for your crossing and provide you with all the vital information you require for a safe and successful crossing to Rottnest.
Rotto Swim is an awesome day, but it's not without its risks. The event organisers work hard to mitigate them. However, it's up to you to make sure you are well prepared and well informed so you can make safe and sensible decisions on the day and assess and minimise personal risk. Preparation means you and your crew can relax on race day and have a memorable day on the water.
Swimmers should be well conditioned for distance swimming and have thoroughly prepared for the race. Part of the preparation should be to practice race day situations so you're not surprised on race day if something doesn't work.
Before race day, I always practice feeding while treading water. I train eating the same food I intend to eat on the race day. I always do a trial swim with my paddler and we practice our communication. I find the best side to swim is on the windward side of my paddlecraft and support boat, and we run through that as well.
In a team of 4 swimmers, compared to the solos and duos, it's really a fun day out on the ocean. I think there is more of a challenge for the skippers and the spotter and the paddlers as well, making sure there is good communication going on between all the swimmers and the changeovers are done in the best possible time. It really becomes a team effort. It helps if you know what you're doing on race day in terms of how long you are all going to swim for and in what order. What is the best food combination to eat and drink during the day, as you'll find that you won't be as hungry as you probably think. Power gels are always good, and there's plenty of good tips in the yearbook as well. I found that really handy. Things always get a little bit chaotic out in the water, so take care and be proper wear.
Paddlers should also be well prepared, including entering the ocean on your paddlecraft from the beach. It's often not as easy as it looks. If you're a skipper, make sure your boat complies with the Department of Transport's marine safety regulations. The boat must be licensed to carry all passengers, including those in the water. All support boats must carry the required minimum safety equipment, including extra life jackets to accommodate your swimmers and paddlers, and must have a working VHF radio. Vessels must also be in current registration, be properly insured, including liability, display the correct navigational lighting between sunset and sunrise, and master of the vessel must hold at least a recreational skipper's ticket.
I do a safety check on my boat at least a month prior and check my RST is up to date. No one wants a rude shock, especially on race day, and the swimmers are relying on me to have those things organised. I also make sure that my skipper's protocols are packed away on the boat. A month out from the swim, I'm vigilant that my boat is sent into the workshop. The filters are all done, fuel, make sure everything's working well, lights, bearings are done on the trailers. But one of the most important things also is to make sure that my marine radio is in full service and working. I put my boat stickers on the day before and have a very clear plan with my daughter, who I skipper for, so we know what we're doing in the morning. I also check in with her the morning of the event, so she knows I'm there and ready to go.
Make sure everyone in the team has read the yearbook and understands what the plan is on race day, and pay particular attention to the information pertaining to safety. Your swimsuits will be checked and they must comply with the event rules. If your swimsuit doesn't comply or you are wearing multiple suits illegally, you can still swim. However, the swim won't be recognised by the association. If you take medication, make sure you have this with you on event day, particularly Ventolin for asthmatics and EpiPens for those with allergies. Let your team know what assistance may be required in the event you become symptomatic.
So the night before, we always like to get together at the swimmer's place, which is mine, and we have a pasta night, and it's usually pretty relaxed, but we go through everything, again. So making sure that the skipper is sorted, he's got petrol, he's got his GPS sorted as well, everything is in, so it gives everybody confidence in the team. Same with the paddler, they're ready to go. They've got a lift down to the ocean in the morning, so they're okay. So it allows the swimmer to just concentrate on what you've got to do, and then it makes for a lot more of a relaxing morning.
And now to event day. Whether you're a swimmer, skipper, paddler or support crew, it's important to know what your role is and have a plan. Skippers, as soon as you're on the water, make sure your marine radio is turned on and switch to the dedicated race channel, VHF channel 77. Be sure to keep the volume up throughout the day.
So in 2016 we had a duo swimmer and a paddler who reported into the Lewin at the 1500 metre mark that they were unable to find their support boat. The Rottnest officials spent 3 hours trying to track down the support boat to no avail. 3 hours later we found that the swimmer and the paddler and the team had all met up and they were continuing on their way to Rottnest Island. We asked them why we were unable to reach them on the radio. The skipper replied that he turned the radio down so that he could turn the music up for their swimmers. Being a significant waste of the critical resources and a major breach of our team rules, the duo was disqualified.
As skippers are responsible for the whole team, including swimmers, paddlers and crew, it's important Channel Swim Base and all race officials can communicate with you. And equally, you need to be able to communicate with them. This is important for race-related issues, safety and other medical matters. At the start line, support boats are to remain at least 1,000 metres from the shore. There are buoys set up on both the north and south side of the channel, which mark the boundary. Support boats can wait anywhere beyond that and cannot proceed towards the swim channel until the boat coordinator calls forward your swimmer's wave. This will happen via the race channel VHF 77. Swimmers, check in with your skipper on the morning of the event to make sure they're ready and getting into place. The starting swimmer needs to arrive at Cottesloe Beach at least 45 minutes before the start of their wave to sign on and pick up their timing strap. Neither swimmers nor paddlers can be delivered to the beach by boat, and it's highly recommended you get a lift as parking at Cottesloe on event morning can be difficult.
When I get to Cottesloe, I get dropped off with my paddler so we can go over the meet plan one more time and make sure they know my wave time, and you'll arrive in the dark and there'll be people starting to arrive from everywhere. There are volunteers in place all along the main road to help you know where to go, and I'll advise going straight to the registration tent to sign on, collect your timing strap, give yourself time to psych up, put your wool fat and sunscreen on and take in the beautiful sunrise. It is unbelievable. You look out across the water to see the Lewin boats and Rottnest on a clear day. It's then you're getting excited to get started.
If I'm the starting swimmer, I make sure I'm at Cottesloe Beach ready to check in at least 45 minutes before our wave. So I've got time to meet my paddler, get my time strap and find my way to the starting line. It's less stressful knowing you're there and waiting than getting there at the last minute. I always find the nerves kick in when you stick the race number tattoo to your arm in the morning. So I think this year I'm going to stick it on the night before and then that's one thing done. On the day, also check in with my teammates who should be waiting on the support boat. By the time the team leaves the beach, everyone else has played a part in making the crossing look amazing. It really does look awesome. It's so easy to get caught up in all the hype and next minute your heat's called up, the horn sounds and reality sets in.
Swimmers will then need to move to the start line 10 minutes before the start of their wave. Paddlers may enter from the north or south and should enter the water 5 to 10 minutes before the start of their swimmer's wave. The hooter will sound and swimmers are off.
The next part is one of the most stressful parts of the day, the meet plan. Make sure you all stick to your meet plan. Are they waiting for you on the north or south of the channel? Are you spotting them or are they spotting you? What differentiates you from others? What is your ETA? Swimmers may only meet up with their paddler after the 500 metre yellow buoys, not before. Once the swimmer and paddler are united, the next step is finding the boat. Remember to have that meet plan locked down and stick to it.
I always make sure to have a meet plan on the day. Don't be too worried. The race officials will help you if you're having trouble locating your boat, but try to think of something easy to spot them. In my experience, we've had paddlers with like shark balloons on the back of the boat, something a bit funny, crazy hats, different striped colours on swimmers' arms, something that's going to stand out from everybody else. And it's also a good idea to decide whether you're going to be on the north or south side of that channel to meet up as well. That can come in handy too.
There are so many boats and traffic race morning, you definitely want to have something that makes you stand out from the rest. Like a novelty balloon or a flag off the back of the paddler is one of the preferred ones. I also paint, when I have paddled, I've painted my paddles with a red stripe. So it represents the same as the surf life-saving colours. And when I'm paddling, or if I'm skipping in my paddler, we make sure that there are binoculars on the boat. There is someone in charge of the binoculars. We have a buoy where we meet at a certain distance, and everyone will be different offshore where you want to tell your swimmer and your paddler where you will be. And it just makes it so much easier for the crew that are looking out for the balloon or the coloured paddle or the flag or whatever. And to make sure that we're at the buoy where we said we would be, and to be on the side of the channel that we had discussed prior to the meeting with our swimmer and our paddler. Because there are so many boats, that is the most important thing, whether you're north or south.
In my experience, it's super important to have a very clear meet plan and stick to it. And when it works, the relief of seeing your paddler exactly where you'd planned to meet them is enormous. And for me, that's where the swim starts.
All swimmers must be accompanied by a support boat and cannot swim beyond 1,500 metres if unaccompanied. Boats will be able to enter the channel after the 1,000 metre red buoys, and swimmers will have from this mark until the 1,500 metre Icon vessel, the Lewin Sail training ship, to unite with their boat. If a reasonable time has passed and you still cannot find your swimmer or support boat, the skipper should notify Channel Swim Base so that race officials can assist in locating them. Swimmers must tread water until their support boat arrives and may wait there for up to 20 minutes. There will be officials at the Lewin helping unite you with your vessel. If you haven't located your support boat by this time, you'll be taken back to Cottesloe and recorded as did not finish.
Every year we're faced with the problem of swimmers being at the 1,500 metre mark and unable to find their support boat. Most times we can tee the two up together, but every now and then we're unable to locate the support boat and the swimmer has to stop their swim at the 1,500 metre mark. Quite often the reason is that the boat has broken down on the way to the start line, which is why we encourage all skippers to test their boat, have it serviced before the swim. In 2010 we actually had a soloist arrive at the Lewin unable to find his support boat. Turns out that the support boat skipper had slept in, missed the alarm, and the soloist had to cancel his swim. So we advise that all swimmers check in with their skipper on the morning of the event to ensure that everything is running according to plan.
Remember, paddlers enter at 500 metre, boats enter at 1,000, and swimmers, you must find your boat before 1,500 metres. Once everyone has united, the skipper has the absolute responsibility for everyone on the boat, as well as their swimmer and paddler. The skipper is in charge.
I appoint a spotter who will be my 2IC on the day and a second set of eyes. Of course, if there are 3 or 4 people on the boat, even better. Myself or my spotter or spotters are always watching our swimmer and our paddler to make sure they're in close proximity and that they're following the event rules. As the skipper, I am responsible for my entire team, which includes my swimmer, paddler and the crew. It's also really important to keep an eye out for other swimmers, non-powered vessels and paddlers. Swimmers should always have right of way, especially because of the number of boats in the water. The swimmers are vulnerable and place a lot of trust in all skippers. On race day, I've seen some incidents, some terrible incidents, especially in the last couple of kilometres heading into Rottnest when the bottleneck starts, and particularly from those skippers who are skippering for swim teams, because the teams are very quick. They catch up to the solo swimmers. And unfortunately, sometimes the skippers think that they have to have the swimmer right next to the boat as close as possible. Now, this is dangerous. They need to be very well aware that there are a heap of swimmers in front of them, particularly the solos. So skippers, I urge you to keep an eye out and keep a safe distance away from the swimmers in front of you, particularly the solo teams. I'm always keeping an eye on my swimmer to make sure they're okay. And if they look like they're not, maybe their stroke has changed, they're not making sense, or something is out of the ordinary, I liaise very, very closely with my paddler. My paddler has direct contact with the skipper, and with the swimmer, I should say, sorry, and I, as the skipper, am reliant upon direction and messages and instructions from the paddler. I'm prepared to make the decision to pull the swimmer out should I need to. My swimmers wholeheartedly need to trust me and understand if I need to pull them out, It's for their own safety. And if I think, and with liaison with my paddler, that they may be hypothermic or might have pulmonary edema, knowing my swimmer as well as their style and stroke could save their life.
Aside from hypothermia, swimming-induced pulmonary edema, or SIPE, has become increasingly common amongst open water swimmers. It is a result of swimmers exerting themselves, lungs filling up with fluid and low oxygen levels, causing the body to eventually shut down. It's important your support crew know the signs and what to look for. You'll find this and more information on how to prevent, detect and treat hypothermia in the yearbook, as well as videos on the Rottnest Channel Swim website. Preparation and awareness are critical, but don't be complacent and think it won't happen to you. Understanding the signs could save your life or a teammate's.
After the support boat has met up with the swimmer and paddler, it's time to make your way to the island. There are two sets of buoys, one to mark the Rum Line, the most direct route to Thomson Bay, and one to mark the northern boundary. If using GPS coordinates to map the route, it's suggested you use the Rum Line coordinates. The northern boundary markers are there simply as that, a boundary. This boundary marks the start of the rescue corridor and the ferry channel. Therefore, you must stay south of these buoys at all times. The rescue corridor is the area designated immediately 10 metres north of the northern boundary buoys. If assistance is required, radio Channel Swim base, and they may ask you to go to the rescue corridor. This will help the rescue crew find you.
It's absolutely vital to our day on the water that we use the Rum Line coordinates so our swimmers don't go off course and add too much distance to their journey. We use the coordinates printed in the yearbook or on the skipper protocols provided in the race pack and enter them the day before. I know skippers that haven't used them have gone way off course. A classic example is a majority of skippers line up Phillip Rock south of Thomson Bay. And the unfortunate part there is you get close to the Rottnest, when everyone realises you are way off course, you do add nearly a kilometre to get your swimmer or swimmers back on track. And let me tell you, the swimmers aren't too happy about that either.
Our priority is to enhance the swimmer safety, and so we have some rules in place to do that. These rules apply to the largest support boats that are greater than 10 metres in length or a yacht of any size. The rules require that these boats need to stay to the north or south edge of the fleet, i.e. the extremities of the fleet, subject to the northern boundary of course. This means that if you're on the northern side, you may in fact be closer to the boundary buoys than the Rum Line buoys. These boats must also have a tender that meet the requirements of a tender, which is the boat being not more than 3.1 metres in length and being propelled by a motor power not exceeding 5 horsepower. If the tender is more than 3.1 metres and 5 horsepower engine, it must be registered and meet safety requirements. Tenders can be used to put their swimmers closer to the Rum Line. The skipper of your tender must also have their recreational skipper ticket. For all participants within half a nautical mile of the Rum Line, there is a speed limit of 6 knots, which must be adhered to.
Some other on-water protocols you need to be aware of. If a swimmer or someone on your boat becomes unwell and requires medical attention, for example, severe hypothermia, contact Channel Swim Base and await further instructions. If necessary, Fremantle Volunteer Sea Rescue Group can get an on-water ambulance to you in minutes. If you have a swimmer or crew member who is unwell and is assessed as non-urgent, for example, they're seasick, you have the option of having the person taken to Fremantle or Rottnest by a rescue boat and your team will be billed post-swim. One of the most asked questions received is what happens if there's a shark? Well, if you see a shark, radio Channel Swim Base on VHF channel 77 and state the details of the sighting, approximate location on the swim course, and if you can, take note of your GPS coordinates. If you are unable to make radio contact, then contact the phone numbers provided on the skipper protocols. Channel Swim Base will then give you further instructions. In the event that a shark is sighted, Channel Swim Base will deploy vessels to investigate and report back to the fleet. If the sighting is of high risk, then the skippers of the vessels within a specified radius will be ordered to remove their swimmer from the water immediately, along with anyone around them. If there is a shark attack, the event will be abandoned. When using the radio on event day, your call sign is your race number. Example, race number 100. Ensure the volume is turned up during the entire event and be careful not to leave your microphone open. Give way to ships at all times, including ferries. Now, ships shouldn't be moving through the channel on race day. However, if there are, Skippers will be advised of shipping movements during the day via radio. Again, have that radio turned on and volume up. If you need to withdraw from the event, your skipper must inform Channel Swim Base via radio, and timing straps must be returned. You can return these to the Fremantle Volunteer Sea Rescue Operations Centre located at Cantonment Hill, or to the help desk at Rottnest. Now, this is how we account for swimmers, so please make sure you do this. Check out all of this information in the yearbook and skipper protocols, and don't forget to pack them for race day.
There are some key event rules you need to familiarise yourself with and adhere to. It's required that you reach the red marker buoys by the prescribed cut-off times. They are set at the 10 kilometre, 15 kilometre, 18 kilometre, 19 kilometre and 19.25 kilometre marks.
The cut-off times are set generously to allow swimmers to reach Rottnest Island by 5 p.m. After strong currents and many swimmers not making the finish line last year, we've also added 15 minutes to each cut-off from the 18-kilometre buoy to ensure that swimmers have adequate time to make the island. You'll also notice there's a 7-kilometre run line buoy on the course.
For tandem solos who've chosen to share a support boat, there are some additional rules you need to adhere to. Swimmers need to swim within close proximity to each other at the same pace. Close proximity means within the range of 10 to 20 metres apart. Each swimmer must have their own paddler. If one tandem solo swimmer is slower than the other, the faster swimmer must slow their pace to meet their speed. Alternatively, either solo swimmer may choose to withdraw. If a tandem solo swimmer becomes unwell and requires medical assistance, causing the boat to have to stop, the other tandem solo swimmer must either tread water until the boat is able to proceed or withdraw from the event. One of the most critical race-related rules, particularly for solos, pertains to non-assistance. Swimmers cannot touch anything or use anything that aids flotation. For solos, this means that when receiving food or fluids, you need to find ways not to touch your boat or paddler.
My support crew throw my food or fluids in a good plastic container or put it at the end of the paddle. I practice this with them prior to the day so they know exactly how it works. I also give them a schedule of when to give it to me. I number all of my little bottles, and we use the kids' pop tops, which is 250 ml, so I know exactly how much I've drunk, and we stick to that plan. Because through the swim, you know, you might be getting tired or a bit delirious and you go, no, I want this or I want that, but stick to the plan, and your paddler will always keep the numbers and make sure that your plan is executed and you've got the right nutrition. And those pop tops are great because they're waterproof, and it just takes a like that and you slam it down and then you chuck it back at them.
Changeovers for duos and teams need to be done at least 10 metres from the support boat, and swimmers must make contact above the water.
So previously, any dual outboard engines had to be disengaged entirely and turned off. We have now changed that rule so that these boats, as well as single outboard engines, can place their engines into neutral rather than turn them off. All skippers must ensure that their engine is in neutral at every changeover, and you should have one person who is relaying to the skipper that the engine is clear and can be engaged. This is the result of someone not following this rule.
Yeah, during a changeover, although you will be focused on the time, make sure you're looking out for whether the propeller is on or off before getting back on the boat. Yeah, more changeovers mean more risks, so communication with the skipper and the spotter really is the key.
One of the most important rules of the event is support boats must not make way astern. This means they must not move backwards or reverse under any circumstances. If a skipper needs to stop or slow the vessel's forward way, they are permitted to use reverse thrust. However, the vessel must not make way astern.
As a skipper, sometimes you need to avoid swimmers or other boats in the water, particularly if it's poor weather. If I need to slow the vessel or stop it, I'll put it into reverse, but make sure I don't ever go astern. My advice to swimmers and to paddlers and to skippers, it is imperative, as I said, the paddler is the main coordinate between your swimmer and yourself. And I have found over the years that best thing to do is to keep the boat to the side and just in front of the paddler and the swimmer. As you get midstream, you'll find that you have a bit more space, and sometimes you can tuck in and the swimmer can follow you. But it's imperative that you are in a distance where you can coordinate with the paddler by voice.
Drafting is not in the spirit of the event and is against race rules for both the Rottnest Channel Swim and Champions of the Channel. Drafting is when a swimmer is following directly behind a paddlecraft, support boat or another swimmer. Skippers are not permitted to consume or be affected by alcohol during the event. Race officials, compliance and medical personnel are empowered to disqualify any entrant whose skipper breaches this rule. Follow all the rules and you'll be fine. We want everyone to be safe and to finish, so familiarise yourself with the event rules in the yearbook. The race official vessels will have yellow signs on either side and the referees will be wearing green shirts. It's important for your own safety that you follow their instructions at all times. Race referees enforce race day rules and can ask a swimmer to leave the water if they breach these rules or miss a cut-off, for example. In addition to race officials, medical and compliance personnel are authorised to enforce event rules. This includes medical personnel advising a swimmer to pull out. A team or duo can proceed with the remaining swimmers or swimmer as the whole team is not required to cross the finish line. However, a solo directed to stop swimming has unfortunately finished their attempt. If the advice is ignored, the swimmer, team or duo will be disqualified and their swim not recorded. Medical staff will not make this call lightly, so please listen to their direction as it's for the welfare of the swimmer.
As you get closer to Rottnest Island, the fleet will start funneling and it can become congested. All swimmers and paddlers must enter Thompson Bay through the 18-kilometre Phillip Rock Gate. Yachts, as well as powerboats that are 10 metres or greater, must leave their swimmer and paddler and proceed to their pre-arranged post-race location. Either a tender or paddler must accompany the swimmer for the next 1 kilometre. Powerboats that are less than 10 metres may also leave at this point. However, the same conditions will apply. Swimmers must be accompanied by either a tender or paddler.
This year we have the addition of orange buoys on the north side that are set at 18.25, 18.5 and 18.75 kilometres. And there are yellow buoys set at the same intervals on the south side in line with Phillip Rock. We strongly advise that support boats remain out of this finish channel on the north side of the northern buoys or the south side of the southern buoys and only come in for swimmer changeovers. This is required to help with congestion, as in previous years we have had large boats cut across the channel, which has been extremely dangerous. So please remember that if your post-race destination is on the south side, you want to be on this side prior to 18 kilometres, and vice versa if your post-race destination is on the north side.
As I said earlier, the finish can be very stressful, so if you can leave the course early, please do it. We make sure we're on the side we need to be, at least by the 15-kilometre mark.
At the 19-kilometre no boats mark, all support boats must peel off and leave their swimmer or swimmers to finish the race. When support boats leave the race, either peel off to the north or south and stay there. Don't cross back over the swim channel. Similarly, be aware of navigational hazards such as Inner Kingston Reef. Paddlers will accompany their swimmers for a further 250 metres and will depart at the 19.25 kilometre Rottnest Express buoys to the south only. Please consider this in your planning. Paddlers can only leave to the south of the channel. Swimmers will then complete the final 400 metres accompanied only by general surf life-saving personnel.
The process as you approach Rottnest Island. The green section is the swim channel. This means that these moorings will be closed during the event. Swimmers will swim down the black arrowed line and land at the finish line just south of the fuel jetty. There is only an area south for paddlecraft. This is demarcated and signed. The paddlecraft area will be located right where the old finish line was. There is no time limit, however, paddlecrafts must be removed by 5 p.m. You will also note that the Rottnest Island Authority has allocated a competitor boat only area just north of the fuel jetty. This will work on a first in, first served basis. You must have a Rottnest Channel Swim boat sticker and a suitably sized boat to be able to anchor there. This area should be able to hold about 50 boats. Please do not anchor outside the marked area as it blocks emergency service vessel access.
Organising my post-event plan is always a priority, so I'm not confused about where I'm going or how to get there. I'll let my swimmer or swimmers and paddler know in advance so that if they want to grab their gear off the boat after the finish, they know where to find me. It's also very, very important. Once again, it comes back to the paddler, because the paddler can go in closer, then the paddler can follow the line to the beach, and the paddler can be at the finish line around about the same time as the swimmer, or the swimmers come over the line, and the paddlers know exactly where to find the boat. They find our swimmer or swimmers, and it's just so streamlined because they take them to where we said we would, and that is obviously the best way and the most efficient way and the safest way.
For the safety of all competitors in the event, we ask that you respect all closures. With regard to mooring use, you will need to be either a licensee, red sticker, or authorised user, yellow sticker, issued by the RIA. And you can only moor your boat to moorings with a disc the same colour as the top left corner of your sticker. The aqua blue coloured Rottnest annual admission sticker does not authorise you to use a mooring. Green moorings are hire moorings and can be booked via the Rottnest Island website. Further, please do not raft up boats on moorings or tie multiple boats alongside each other. The Rottnest Island Authority Rangers will be patrolling these areas to ensure safety and compliance. Fines apply for incorrect mooring use. Other important information you need to be aware of is that there is no beach anchoring between the fuel and hotel jetties between 6 p.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. on Saturday. Tenders are only permitted in demarcated areas. There will be no fuel available from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the day. Unleaded and diesel fuel will be available after 5 p.m. Loading zones are available for pick-up and drop-off only. This includes the T jetty on the main jetty, the hotel jetty and the north side of the fuel jetty. Swimmers do not need to pay admission fees. Non-swimmers, however, do need to pay their admission fees, and you're able to purchase these following the Metro safety briefing at the Rottnest Island Authority information desk or via the RIA website at rottnestisland.com. Remember, your admission fees power Rottnest. As you'd expect, accommodation is fully booked, and it is against the Rottnest Island Authority regulations to remain on the island without designated accommodation. It's important not to forget general housekeeping. Be safe, be friendly and courteous. Plan ahead and respect and look after your island.
Swimmers will arrive at the beach south of the fuel jetty and make their way up and over the ramp. Once you're in the finish line enclosure, volunteers will remove your timing strap. Do not do this yourself. The volunteers are there to help. You'll be given fruit and a bottle of water before making your way through the exit tent. If you aren't feeling well after the swim, visit the medical tent located at the finish line. Now, you have the choice of exiting immediately, or you can line up to get your photo taken. Prize packs for solos and category prize winners are to be collected from the spectator side of the finish line. Duo and team prize winners will be sent text messages, and category prizes can be collected between 2 and 5 o'clock. So make sure you have your phone on at 5 p.m. All solos need to return to the finish line for the annual soloist photo. Now, being in this photo is more prestigious than owning the number plates, so don't miss out. Then it's time to relax.
When you get to Phillip Rock, the relief is incredible because you know you are so close to the finish. You've still got another 2Ks to go, but you have broken the back of this and you are on the home stretch. And the atmosphere is amazing. You've got people calling out to you the whole time and, you know, go Whitecaps, and the feeling in the boat is, you know, up, and everybody is excited because the day is about to finish for them as well. But it is amazing. And so you say goodbye to all of your crew, and that can be quite emotional as well because they have travelled with you, you know, as a huge part of this journey, and then you're on your own. And then the last little bit, you can hear your family and friends screaming out your name, and everybody has been so supportive of this huge achievement that you are about to accomplish. And when you walk in the water, and you stand in the water when you're a little bit wobbly, and you put your hands in the air and you race to the finish line, there's not a better feeling that you can imagine.
So, Goss, it really is an amazing feeling to complete the swim. Actually, have you ever considered giving it a go?
No. There's a thing called ferries, Nerelda. I'll stick to the ferry.
Fair enough, Goss. Now, here's Michael Schultz with the weather.
Thanks, Nerelda. For Saturday the 24th of February, I'd love to tell you the weather will be perfect. A beautiful 30 degrees, a nice easterly until everyone finishes the swim, and a water temperature of 24. But instead, I'm going to tell you, you can't worry about the weather. Just be prepared for any forecast. Regular weather forecasts will be provided on the event website, and you can check back with me on 10 Eyewitness News a couple of days before the swim, when I should be able to give you a better idea of what to expect. Weather's unpredictable, and the race committee will make their decision on the morning of the event if conditions are fine for the swim. If the weather is deemed unsuitable or conditions are likely to deteriorate, the event may be cancelled. This has only happened once in the swim's 27-year history. Should the event be cancelled, please do not disregard the decision. The only reason the event would be cancelled is because it's unsafe to proceed. An SMS message will be sent between 4 a.m. and 4:30 to advise whether the event will proceed. This will be sent to the skipper and the team captain. The message will also be broadcast on the race channel VHF 77. Please note there will be no refund if the event is cancelled, but entrants will be offered a guaranteed entry into the 2019 event. That's all on the weather front. It's back to you, Nerelda.
Thanks, Schultzy. Well, there is a lot to think about when participating in the Rottnest Channel Swim as a skipper, swimmer or paddler. And I know from experience how much effort goes in and how being prepared is vital to a safe and successful swim, and also how rewarding seeing that finish line is. We encourage you to read your yearbooks, as it has everything you need to know to help you prepare for this amazing event and get to Wadgem up safely. Each year I'm excited about it, and I look forward to seeing you at the finish line again.
And I'll see you at the start, because that's where I belong. From all of the team here at Network 10, we wish you a fantastic and safe crossing. Catch you on the beach.